Martell Holt has once again found himself in a moment that has everyone talking, because this time he is openly sharing why he feels the way he does about Arionne Curry, and the reaction from the public has been huge. The moment he started speaking on this topic, people leaned in because everyone knows Martell does not hide how he feels. He may say things that shock people, he may say things that confuse people, but he always speaks in a way that makes people pay attention. And this moment is no different. Because when Martell begins to explain why he loves Arrione, it says a lot about his personality, his past, and the kind of connection he has been looking for a long time. It's not just about romance for him. It's about the type of energy he wants from someone, the type of attention he values, and the type of loyalty he feels drawn to. That's what makes this moment interesting, because it gives everyone a clearer look into the mind of a man who has been part of drama, heartbreak, mistakes, and complicated relationships that have kept the public watching for years. When Martell talks about Arrione, the first thing he mentions is that she's crazy about him, clingy in a way he likes, and someone who pays attention to him the way he wants. He has said that men want to feel like the woman they're with is truly into them, and he believes Arrione gives him exactly that energy. For him, that matters, because he has been in relationships where he felt like he was giving a lot, but not receiving the kind of appreciation he wanted. Even though he does not say it loudly, it's clear that he felt unseen or undervalued in some of his past relationships. And now, with Arrione, he feels a kind of closeness that makes him feel important. That is why he highlights her devotion and her attention, because those qualities make him feel understood in ways he feels he did not experience before. This explains why he talks about her with so much honesty, because in his mind, she fills a space that no one else has filled in a long time. But the reason this moment is so powerful is because Martell has a long history that affects how people react to anything he says about love. He was married once, and that marriage had a lot of drama, separation, tears, and arguments that people are still talking about today. Many people believe he never fully let go of his ex emotionally, and because of that, every new relationship he enters gets compared to the old one. That is why when he expresses his love for Arrione, many people online react with comments like, "Martell, stop lying to yourself," or "You still haven't healed." Fans think he still carries pain, jealousy, and pride from the past, and that those feelings show up in the way he talks about relationships. And even though Martell does not always admit these things directly, the way he speaks, the way he reacts to certain topics, and the way he handles emotional conversations suggest that there is still something inside him that has not fully settled. Another thing that adds more heat to the topic is Martell's connection with people like Tony the Closer, someone who is bold, outspoken, and known for using strong language when talking about relationships. Martell blends into those environments and adapts quickly, shaping his opinions depending on who he's around. That makes people wonder how much of his behavior is natural and how much is influenced by the people he hangs out with. When he talks with men who speak sharply about women, he often joins in. When he talks to people who are calmer, he adjusts again. Some see this as him being flexible, while others see it as him lacking a strong emotional direction. But what's clear is that when he talks about Arrione, his tone changes completely. He becomes softer, more open, and more willing to say what he likes about her. It shows that even though he can move in different ways depending on the environment, when it comes to his feelings for her, he is consistent. A big part of Martell's reaction comes from feeling appreciated. He has said more than once that he wants to feel like the woman he chooses actually wants him. Not for money, not for status, not for fame, but because she truly enjoys his presence. He has said that men can give, provide, spoil, and support, but they need that same energy returned to them emotionally. And with Arrione, he feels like she gives him that. There's a peace he feels with her that he does not always feel when he's dealing with public pressure or family issues. He believes that she sees him as more than just a public figure and that she understands his flaws without judging him the same way everyone else does. That sense of acceptance is powerful for someone who has been in the public eye, experiencing criticism, scandals, and constant opinions from people who don't truly know him. This moment also shines a light on the way Martell views relationships. He likes excitement, he likes passion, and he likes a connection that makes him feel important. People joke about him liking crazy and clingy energy, but the truth behind it is that he wants someone who shows clear interest and loyalty. He likes a woman who makes him feel chosen. This is why he keeps coming back to the word clingy, because in his mind, it means someone who values him. Even though some people think it's toxic or unhealthy, for Martell, it means closeness, it means loyalty. It means he is not guessing what the other person feels. It means he feels wanted. And after everything he has been through in his past, he sees that as something valuable. The reaction online has been wild, with people giving their opinions non-stop. Some applaud Martell for being honest about what he likes. Others think he's repeating the same mistakes he made before. Some think he's looking for attention. Others think he is finally showing his true feelings after years of hiding behind pride. There are comments from people joking about his choices, calling him bitter, calling him confused, and calling him delusional. But there are also comments from people who understand what he is trying to say, who understand that he wants someone who values him in the way he finds meaningful. And because this topic deals with love, loyalty, trust, and emotional connection, people feel strongly about it. Everyone has an opinion because everyone has experienced relationships that didn't work out, relationships where they were not valued, or relationships where they were not appreciated. Martell's honesty touches those emotions. At the same time, Martell's past behavior always becomes part of the conversation. People bring up the tight suit he once wore, the drama on social media, the moments where people accused him of being stalkerish or unable to move on. They bring up how he spoke about his ex-wife and how he handled situations that could have been approached differently. They bring up his ups and downs with cast members, his interactions with other women, and his emotional reactions that have shocked people in the past. All of these things shape how the public reacts to anything he says about love. For some people, he is funny. For others, he is frustrating. For many, he is unpredictable. But for all, he is entertaining. And that's exactly why this moment has captured so much attention. Because Martell Holt is no longer just a reality TV personality. He has become a case study in how public figures navigate love, ego, and vulnerability when the whole world is watching. Every word he says, every emotion he expresses, every hint he gives about his personal life becomes fuel for conversations that last days. And whether people love him or love to criticize him, one thing is certain: everyone is paying attention. But here's the deeper layer. What Martell is saying about Arrione does not only reveal how he feels about her, it reveals how he feels about himself. Because when a man keeps repeating that he wants loyalty, attention, and someone who is crazy about him, it shows that there are emotional gaps he's still trying to fill. It shows that he is still trying to rebuild the parts of himself that were broken in the process of losing a marriage, losing public trust, and losing control over a narrative he once believed he owned. This is why some viewers believe his attachment to Arrione is emotional comfort, not real healing. They see him clinging to the validation she gives him because he is not yet ready to fully deal with the pain he carries from the past. But Martell doesn't see it that way. In his mind, Arrione represents someone who has stood by him during his darkest moments, even when the world dragged both of them mercilessly. From public humiliation to social media wars to being labeled as the other woman, she endured all of that while insisting she genuinely cared for him. Martell sees that loyalty as rare, and he values it. That is why he speaks with a softness around her name that he rarely shows elsewhere. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. It's about knowing that when everything collapses, someone will still pick up the phone for him. For a man who has often felt misunderstood, that kind of unwavering attachment feels irreplaceable. But here's where the conversation gets even messier. Because with Martell, nothing exists in a simple, neat box. Even as he praises Arrione, people still question his intentions. Is he saying these things because he's truly in love? Or is he saying them because he wants to prove something to the world? Is he speaking from his heart? Or is he trying to rewrite the narrative that has followed him for years? There are fans who believe that Martell sees Arrione as a reflection of the freedom he lost when fame took over his life. Others believe he keeps her close because she feeds the part of him that thrives on admiration, attention, and emotional reassurance. Whatever the truth is, the public can sense that his attachment to her comes from a place much deeper than he admits. Because even when he tries to act tough, even when he tries to shift the blame, there are moments where his guard drops. And those moments reveal a man who was still fighting his own battles. And as Martell continues to open up, one thing becomes clear. People are not just reacting to his words, they are reacting to the patterns they've seen for years. They remember how quickly he could switch between anger and charm. They remember how passionately he defended choices that hurt people. They remember the interviews, the arguments, the emotional outbursts, and the complicated moments where his pride collided with his vulnerability. So when he speaks about love now, especially love for a woman who was at the center of his most controversial decisions, people don't just hear the romance, they hear the history. What makes this moment even more fascinating is that it puts a spotlight on a truth people often avoid. Love is not always logical. It's not always clean. It's not always admirable. Sometimes love exists in chaos. Sometimes it grows in places that don't make sense to the outside world. And for Martell, whether people like it or not, Arrione represents a connection built out of intensity, passion, mistakes, and emotional highs and lows that only the two of them truly understand. And that unpredictability, that rawness, is why the public cannot look away. Because when Martell Holt speaks, he never just tells a story. He reveals a piece of himself. And whether that piece is healed, broken, confused, or confident, people will always tune in to see what he shows.